When we come back, the New York startup scene. In one, there is a company that is showing some of the world's biggest firms how to make stronger connections with their customers. The CEO of MOAT is with us next. Welcome back to Money Moves on Bloomberg Television, streaming all day long on your iPad and at Bloomberg.com. Catching and keeping customers' attention is a massive challenge, and one startup is going beyond click counts to help its clients, such as Kellogg's and Danone, better connect to their customers. The company's name is MOAT, and it was inspired by a statement made by Warren Buffett. And Buffett said, "In business, I look for economic castles protected by unbreachable moats." So the MOAT CEO and co-founder Jonah Goodhart and I talked about the digital advertising space.
I was in a foreign country recently, and we were at a restaurant, and the waiter walked over and said, "What do you want to drink?" And he listed out options. And one of those options was Coke, and the other option was a soft drink that none of us recognized. And every single person said, "I'll take the Coke." Right? That intangible feeling, that connection, that, you know what, I'll get what I expect, and it's consistent, and I know what it is, and I trust them. That's their moat. That's what protects them from competition. And when you think about a brand sort of strengthening that moat, it's about being protected, and it's not about utility, but it's about an emotional connection with that brand.
So you want to be the Coca-Cola of digital advertising?
Well, we want to help brands widen their moats, right? And so we want to help them feel protected by having better data, better metrics, a better understanding of how to reach consumers. MOAT is about understanding how consumers pay attention, and that's the key.
What pieces of information are your clients most interested in? What do they care about?
First things first, because the internet is not structured like other mediums, it doesn't stop your content like TV does. You have ads on the page simultaneously competing for attention, just like content does. So the first thing they want to know is, was the ad actually there? Okay. If it was there, how long was it there? Beyond being on the page and in front of the consumer, did they actually do anything? Did they interact with the ad? Was there something that you could measure?
Did someone click on it?
Maybe did someone click on it, right? And clicks are a funny thing. I don't know the last ad that you clicked on. I haven't clicked on an ad in a long time. And historically, though, that's been the default metric. That's been how the internet has measured success, believe it or not, is when 3 out of 10,000 impressions result in a click, we've said that's successful. And I think we're moving to a new place where we need to think beyond clicks and beyond those types of old metrics to a better understanding of actually how people pay attention.
So what are the metrics then that you're using to know if you're on track?
Yeah, so starting with things like, was the ad there? How long was it there? We look at simple concepts like exposure time, right? We have these clocks all throughout our office that measure the total amount of time that we've measured in front of our clients' audiences every day, right? And so this is now in the millions. It's going to be in the tens of millions as we continue to grow. And from our perspective, it's a starting point. Again, we're focused on understanding how we as consumers pay attention. How do we read an article? How do we read a newspaper? How do we consume content? How do we see an ad? It's very different than it's been in the offline world, and so that's a new world that we're all getting accustomed to.
You have, in addition to yourselves, some pretty heavy-hitting backers, obviously Peter Thiel and the Founders Fund, also a very well-known angel investor, Ron Conway. And I know the original investment was yourself, basically private, and your partners. With Peter and with Ron, what did they see in MOAT that they said, we'd like to put money in?
I think that they saw the $200 billion of ad spend that's going to come into digital. And I think that's what Google's focused on, that's what Facebook's focused on, that's what Yahoo's focused on, that's what AOL's focused on. There is a massive amount of money that is going to come into digital because the world has become digital. And so figuring out how do we help marketers and brands and publishers take advantage of that fact and reach consumers in this new world. The world is really different, and we have to realize that, but also figure out how do we cut through the clutter and actually reach consumers when they're paying attention.
What do you see right now that is really catching your attention here in New York?
Well, I think about it this way. I started my first business with my brother 15 years ago, and at the time we talked about how the internet was going to change the world. A lot of those things are actually starting to happen. So we're at the point where every business is going through this digital transformation. Everything's becoming digital. It's no longer TV or digital. It's how is TV becoming digital. And that's a really important point. The silos are gone. Everything's becoming digital. So how do we function in this new world? And there are a lot of great companies focused on that in New York.
That was MOAT co-founder and CEO Jonah Goodhart. Bloomberg, by the way, is also a client of MOAT. So when we come back...